Hello, Hamish Conway here, and welcome to TACOS Tuesday. This is episode 41, and today we're doing something a bit different. We've got just hot off the press from our Retail Fest conference in the Gold Coast last week, where Victoria, who's our account director at Sell Global, as you can see here on the screen, she's joining me to run through the changes that we're seeing in the Amazon's algorithm as we move from more of the keyword search to the more AI generated. So we're going to do this in two parts, and then the second part we'll talk about Rufus, so otherwise it's all too long. Anyway, so that's, and if you're first time around with TACOS Tuesday, normally we're talking about ads, but actually this is so important. Basically, ads about getting found on Amazon, and these changes in the Amazon algorithm are going to help you get found, and you're going to see the future of where advertising is going as well when it comes to Rufus. So anyway, welcome, Vic. Great to have you here.
Thanks, Hamish, and hi, everyone. Yeah, I think there's a massive change is happening to the algorithm, and it's mainly been visible in the US, on the US marketplace, and where majority of the sellers are. And I guess where we can pick up all the trends, and that's especially important for the sellers in Australia because we can pick up those trends and learn, and we have a bit of time, and we can see what's happening in the US. Learn something from their experiences and implement it and have a bit more time to adjust what we're doing and become more successful in selling on Amazon Australia. So I think that's the goal here, just going through those changes briefly and then identifying the areas of improvement and how we can actually help our businesses to grow here.
Yeah, 100%. So this is really about the mental shift that we've got to be making as brands selling on Amazon.
It's a big one. Yeah.
It's a big one, right? It's a fundamental shift. And, it hasn't happened yet in Australia, but certainly hasn't in America. And so the actions for you to take out of this will become clearer as we go through. And a lot of it is, does come around to your content and how you position that. But Vic, do you want to talk to even this first slide that we've had up actually since the start?
Yeah, sure.
My mistake there, but yeah, from keywords to intent, please.
That's right. So if you start looking at the algorithm from the very, very, very high level, I think we're very used to looking at the algorithm from the keyword perspective. So when we're putting something on Amazon, we want the product to be found, and we're trying to optimize for the keywords, which the buyers are potentially looking for when they're typing in something in their search, what they're looking for. So it has been, probably since the start of Amazon back in 1990s, middle of that somewhere. And in Australia, we only had Amazon since 2017, 18. So it hasn't been here that much. But the whole algorithm has been evolving in the US. And basically, it was heavily keyword driven. So with AI, what is happening more and more is that AI is learning about the buyers and the sellers and the products. And because AI is very smart and has almost indefinite capacity to analyze things, not like us humans, right? It can actually put 1 + 1 + 3 + 10 very quickly and spit out the product which is very tailor-made to a potential buyer and show something which, our product might not even in the past appear in their search and they wouldn't know they want our product, but AI is going to be so smart in the future that it will analyze the buyer's behavior and actually push our product to them even if we're not targeting. So we're moving away from keyword-based search within the algorithm to more like intent. So what are the buyers looking for? What's their intent when they come to Amazon? And what the buyer profile looks like, just trying to figure out without them telling AI what they want, what you want, right? It's a funny question to answer. Yeah. So that's the key shift we're seeing happening in the US, especially.
To the intent, yeah. And so look, Amazon wants to sell more product or increase its conversion rate. And so this is how they're using AI to do that. And then we've just got to make sure that we've got our products going along for this new journey and showing up in front of the right people, because Amazon's always been about relevancy, and that's the conversion rate mechanism here. So technically this should increase the relevancy of the search results that people are getting. So I'll move on to the next slide there.
And that's, I guess, what we have been as a sellers looking into over the few past years is the A9 and A10 algorithm. And we're still using it in Australia to a large degree, I think, or it feels like. But in the US over the last year, there has been a switch to something called Cosmo algorithm, and that's AI-driven algorithm. And basically, it's the context-aware algorithm. So it's not only your keywords you're putting in, but also the context. And AI is trying to figure out and understand the customer intent and customer behavior and your products, and also, well, basically do the matchmaking at the background and spit out the suggestions which are highly relevant to the clients, potential
Yeah.
buyers.
Great. Right. So the old A9, A10, that's going to be out the back door. Cosmo is the new wave. All
Yeah.
right. So I'll
And
move
that
on to
has been happening in the US already. So,
yes.
and in Australia, it's coming. So we have a bit of time to prepare for this, hopefully.
Very good. So can you explain this?
Nah, just do some reading. That's actually the white paper for Cosmo algorithm, and it's actually fascinating read. So I understand it could be quite overwhelming, but it also could be interesting and give you an insight as to into the algorithm itself and how it's calculating the relevancy, what it is looking for. There would be a couple of examples directly from that paper, which we can actually go through together. But that's basically how it's all working. So the white paper is the summary of the algorithm. And I think in the past, we used to kind of do a lot of guessing how the algorithm works. But here it is. There is a white paper. You can go and read it and take what you can away from it and just see how it actually can makes your decisions better and more AI friendly, which is
Yes.
interesting.
Okay. Just out of interest, so if people wanted to read the white paper, where would they go and find that? What would they
Well,
Google?
you can just type in the search in the Google or whichever search you're using. It could be ChatGPT, it could be anything, wherever you want to type or you used to typing in, and just say Cosmo white paper, and you will easily find this one. It's not hiding anywhere. I think
Okay.
Amazon has it as well in the suggested documents.
Perfect. All right. So
Yeah.
how Cosmo understands intent, like because it's shifting from keywords to intent. How does it do that?
Yeah, so I guess there are a few different things, and that's what the white paper explains quite a bit. And the biggest part of it is building those so-called knowledge graphs on both sides, on the seller and the buyer. So, and Cosmo constructs those knowledge graphs for both sides and basically just tries to put everything into the real world context, and also looks at the usage scenarios and figures out where your product can be placed, and also what your target audience is, what's the intent of the target audience, and what are the other items you potentially might be looking at. So once those knowledge maps are created, then a lot of analytics is going into the into figuring out what product would be suggested for the potential buyer, and also that would depend on the customer behavior, what things you clicked on before. So AI is learning a lot about you, and although I think like all of them, including Amazon, will tell you that they're not really collecting a lot of data and a lot of privacy things. It could be at a higher level, or it could be very use specific. I think we will see soon based on our shopping behavior. And AI will try to predict your future shopping behavior as well, based on the knowledge it has about you.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I mean, Amazon and Facebook and, Meta, Google, they've all got to say that. But in reality, like Amazon does have this walled garden. It's one of its big advantages when it comes to selling consumer products. And they've got so much data on their Prime members. And like any company is actually going to use that data in a way to direct, like behavioral marketing has been around for a long time.
Absolutely.
In terms of if this, then that, then put this in front of them. Like that's normal. So we know that they'll be doing that, and they've got the demographics and they see the patterns, like as we'll see in a moment. If they're buying nappies, well, they've probably got a baby, so then we can put these things in front of them as well. We know, and this is something that a big reason to be selling on Amazon actually is just the investment that Amazon is putting into this. Is, whether you like it or not, that's happening. It's going to be way harder going direct to consumer to pull this off. I mean, obviously Amazon's a marketplace and they've got the massive spread of things, but this is like that behavioral marketing on steroids.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, once the whole algorithm figured out what the buyers are looking for and what the sellers have, so the whole search becomes quite interactive. And as a buyer, you can actually refine. So overall, the whole goal is to actually improve the buyer's experience on the platform.
Yes.
And it's always been the case for Amazon. And I guess that's important to keep that in mind, is that Amazon is trying to make shopping easier for the buyers, because if you look at the Amazon at the moment, especially in the US, there are so many products and buyers are just overwhelmed when they're coming to the platform. They don't necessarily want to scroll through thousands of products and figure out what's the subtle differences. They will be able to ask AI, so what's the best product for me? And they would get an amazing answer. I think they wouldn't be able to make a better choice in the future. So we're still getting there, but I think that's where we head to.
Yeah, nice. Anything else on this particular slide here before I move
I think
on?
maybe we can look at the no, we can go to the next one and we can just look at
this is good.
It's always easier to put it in the context.
Yeah, and I know some people are listening, and so we'll talk through this example.
You have to use the imagination.
That's right. So
awesome.
So share this example, Vic.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually the example mentioned in the white paper, so we'll just use that. Like, think about something you are putting in the search bar and what you're expecting to see when you're typing in, and based on who you are, that output would be different in the future. Currently in the US already. So we have here on the screen the search term sunscreen, and the first target audience or avatar, if you wish, is the backpacker male, probably youngish. I cannot really see, he's standing with his back to us, but young backpacker, he's going for a hike or something. So he's probably looking for some small sunscreen which he can put into his pocket and just take it on the go and use it. And the other avatar is a mom of 3 kids, and she's looking for sunscreen as well. So I guess if you can use the imagination, the sunscreen those two target audiences would be looking for would be potentially quite different, right?
Yes.
So the mom would be looking for like a bulk buy 3-liter jar of sunscreen to splash over her kids, and the hiker would be looking for a small portable, just tube or something to take on the hike. And that's the intent of these audiences is different. So that's what Cosmo will be looking into.
And then we'll loop in the next couple of slides there just as to how you go about turning up in front of the right people. And again, this is just all the relevance, right? Like Amazon wants to put the most relevant product for that search for you up in front of you. And then and then talk about the other one that's a little bit different again.
The other one is a bit different, and we have a picture of a pregnant lady, and next to it we have a pair of just comfy shoes. So if you look at the title, it doesn't have anywhere in the title shoes for pregnant lady or for pregnant women. So we what we have in the title says, the just comfort shoe, right? So it's not really the best title if you can look at it, but anyway, it just says comfort, it doesn't say pregnant. But what AI does on the background is actually looking at the intent of the purchasing, based on that avatar who is the pregnant lady there, and she is looking for comfortable shoes. So they're putting one and one together and saying, okay, so you're looking for comfy shoes. These shoes have been picked up as the comfiest in the market. They will probably be something you might want to look into. Yes. And AI is learning. So if the lady picked up those shoes and she's pregnant and she picked up those shoes as comfy shoes, most likely the algorithm will pick it up, and in the future, if another pregnant lady is searching for something like that, so those shoes will appear in her top products as well.
Fascinating. Excellent. And then another example here
then
around
we can expand.
intent.
How far would you like to go? So usually when we're selling products, and that would probably apply to smaller brands, sometimes we can be stuck a little bit trying to figure out what are the complementary products or what we can associate with our product, but AI will do it all for us. So you can actually say, I'm selling this particular item, suggest another 10 items I could sell in that niche, or which could be complementary to my product. And I think that would be quite a great selection of the products. So here on the screen at the moment, we have the query, which is furniture for small apartments. And AI can come up with lots of different ideas for the products which would fit that intent. And it could be anything starting from the small bed, finishing with some lighting features which can go on the wall. So if you think about all these potential products, right? So you have an empty room, it's a small room, it's a small space, and you're trying to fit the small space. So AI will do it for you. So you don't really need to search particularly for bed and then search for the table and search for the chair. It will just select all the things which will fit into that room perfectly.
And this is going to also be part of the shift in consumer behavior and the way that they shop. They could be, I'm going to use the term, they could be lazier, or you could use smarter, might be better in terms of how they buy. And so in terms of using agents to, ask questions and then looking at the results that come through and reviewing that, rather than having to do all the thinking and all the hunting.
And if you think about it, it's more intuitive search, right? So I think as a consumers, we have been put into that situation where we're searching for a small bed or small chair, small desk, and we have to go through like 20 listings and analyze, oh, what would fit and
Yeah.
so on. Versus we
Yeah.
don't really think like that, right? You just
No.
have something in your mind, so something for the small space. And when you're looking for it, you just want to see things which are specifically for that area and complementary items. So that's more, it's going to be more intuitive and a better experience in the end.
Yeah. 100%. Okay. All right. Now let's so just to kind of quickly finish off then. Well, and we'll share these slides as well for those listening. So what does this mean?
Basically, what we just discussed
We'll just touch on anything
boils
to add.
down to the search, which is customized, or the results of the search are highly customized for the potential buyer. AI can identify the products which are good for you and will push those products to you, suggest them, and interact with you. And you can actually interact back with AI, and you can say, I want the same product, but in different material or something else, and it will come up with other um, suggested options for you. What does it mean for the sellers? It's not, we're not going to get rid of keywords. So the keywords are
No.
important, and what it will be less important is the keyword stuffing. So I don't
Mm.
know, like you probably came across TikTok videos, like viral videos where an influencer will try to read an Amazon product title, right? So it would be like 250 characters, and they like full of words which don't make any sense to a
No.
normal person,
No.
because
Yeah.
the sellers are talking to the algorithm. So now we can actually turn this around and we can talk to the buyer. We can just put some descriptive words, your main keywords, your descriptive words, an intent, who the product is good for, all of this, right? And we should think about it as talking to a human, right? And provide AI with the
Mm.
better data rather than just keywords, because AI will look at your image as well, right? So it will analyze your
Yeah.
image. It will analyze whatever words you have on the image. If it has packaging or something, it will read it, scrap it all through. It will
Mm.
also look at your keywords and bullet points and backend search terms. Your plus all of the content you have on Amazon will be analyzed by AI. So you don't necessarily anymore need to put all these words, stuff them into the title, and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's like the key shift there is it becomes a signal, not a
Exactly.
the priority.
Yeah.
And so some other implications here, and even as we kind of get nearer the end, like what are some of the things that sellers want to be thinking about with their content to
Hmm.
get visibility as
Yeah,
this algorithm comes in?
absolutely. Well, I guess the easiest thing is to think about your target audience. So be really clear who
Mm.
your target audience is and what problem we're trying to solve. And I know we have discussed it millions times in the past. We're trying to all answer these questions, but it's going to be even more important in the future. So optimize for the context. See if you can have more videos how to use your product, some reviews from buyers. Any user generated content will be scrapped as well by AI. That's actually an
Yeah.
intent. Those are best videos for intent. And then use the rich descriptors in your titles, in your bullet points, in your
Mm.
copy, anywhere you can put them in, really, and
Yeah.
avoid keyword stuffing at the high level.
Yes.
And yeah, just make sure you do content optimization, but focus on creating those listings which are rich in context rather than just keywords.
Yeah. So really clear in the audience. So you've got to put yourself in the shopper's shoes a lot more, and
Mm.
and start to putting those use cases, and then certainly video is going to be more important as well, right? And for example, here.
Yeah, yeah. So if again you're starting with the product, you're trying to sell a product, so you can be you would be clear. You would have to put it in a particular niche and category. So here we had the picture of the coffee
Mm.
machine or air fryer, and it's sitting in the shop of the kitchen appliances. So Amazon already puts it somewhere, right? So in the future, your products will be categorized based on what AI thinks the intent is. So maybe we're not even going to select a category, right? So at the moment we're selecting category. In the future, if your main image is not clear enough that your product should be sitting in the kitchen appliances and it goes into toys, yeah, it's not really a great fit, right? So you will need to see how you can improve your hero image and the rest of the images and the copy overall to give AI the data which is relevant to your product. So then we need to make sure, just a second, if you go back quickly. just to make sure that we are clear on the audience, we did mention that, and this user-generated content is amazing, or the brand-generated content is great too. So just make sure you're adding it all into your listings.
That's right, and I think that's the most amazing thing. Really, is just AI's ability to pick up on all the images and the product and the videos, and that form a lot of the relevancy to that target audience. So there's a lot more thought is going to have to go in to those aspects. And so I guess a bit of a summary on part 1 of this 2-part series here. So would you like to
I guess it's kind of summary on what we just discussed, and think about your audience. And we cannot really emphasize it enough. And I think that's where the AI is going. AI is trying to understand the audience and your products. So understanding exactly who your product is for, what can they use for, all the different user cases. And we did mention it on the previous slide, you can actually add something, this can be used for, and just suggest the user cases. So maybe it's great for hiking, or it's great for swimming, or you can use this product for party or something else. So like AI will pick it up and make sure that the product will come up for when your buyer is searching for something within those framework.
Excellent. Wonderful. All right, Vic. Awesome. I know we kind of rushed through a lot of that there, but we'll have those slides there for people as well. And we'll next week we'll have part 2 where we dive into Rufus and just some examples there, and another conversation there. And that again will just help you start to take from what we're talking about there around at a high level, and just getting more specific as well, and might even show some live examples there if that helps the communicating the message. But look, thanks so much, Vic. Really appreciate you, and I know you love this stuff, and we're very grateful to have you here to keep us at the forefront of what is happening with these changes, particularly around Amazon.
Yeah, thank you so much, and have fun with your listings. I think it's exciting change, and you will have to adapt. We don't want to fall behind. So stay tuned for more tips.
Yeah, wonderful. All right, thanks everyone. Appreciate you tuning into Tacos Tuesday, and we'll see you next week. All the very best. Bye for now.